it's always been said that the kitchen has always been where the heart of the home is. We've seen it on quilts and we've seen it on wall art. The kitchen is where the heart of the home is. It's where we gather for meals, we share laughter, we bake things together, and sometimes this is where, for my family, we have our most meaningful conversations. It's also where we join together for dinner to break bread together and come together in prayer, whether it be praying over breakfast or dinner, praying before our homeschool sessions. It is one of the areas where we have a chance to live out our faith before our children and with our family. It's a space where we love, where we care, and where hospitality is lived out. As I've grown in my journey as a mother and a homemaker, I've come to see the kitchen as more than just a room. This is my ministry. In 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 9 through 10, we are reminded, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. That there is our calling as homemakers, just one of many in which God calls us to serve our family. But He doesn't just call us to serve our family. It's not enough to just do it. We must also do it from a heart of love, without complaining and without grumbling. This is something that I struggle with. And if this is something that you do too, don't be afraid to admit it. We are all human and we are all in the flesh. Comment below if this is something that you're working on right alongside with me. And if you are, then this is the perfect vlog for you. There have been times where I've felt overwhelmed in the kitchen, times where the dishes have piled up, or a recipe did not go as I planned, or I was just exhausted and tired. And in those moments, I have begun to learn that the best thing to do is to just stop, to pause, and to pray. In that way, I sometimes feel immediate peace, asking God to help me see this work as an act of worship, not just a chore. As you can see in this video, I don't exactly look like I'm enjoying slicing and peeling a carrot. But there is so much to be seen here. For instance, I'm having a conversation with my husband in the midst of doing that. To be able to just spend time with my husband in the kitchen while I am preparing a meal for us is a blessing in itself. We also have food that, although I have the resources to grow that God has given me, which I can be thankful for, someone else, they took their time out, they labored so that we can have this food to serve to our family. I'm grateful that we have food to prepare. I'm grateful that God gave me this role and saw that I was important enough for it, that I was able enough to do it, and He entrusted me with some of His greatest gifts, His own children. When I invite the Lord into my kitchen, everything changes. Suddenly, cooking isn't a chore, it's a way to show love. Washing dishes becomes a moment of gratitude for the food that we've been blessed with. Even meal prep begins to feel more meaningful when I think about how Jesus often shared meals with His disciples, using those moments to teach, connect, and bless other people. I strive to be more like Jesus. I have also discovered the power of inviting my family into the kitchen. Even though sometimes it can feel chaotic, my son running around while I'm trying to cook, me tripping over him. Sometimes the baby is kind of screaming in the middle of me preparing a meal, and my husband talking to me. Sometimes it's not always like the easiest thing to do because I'm trying to focus on multiple things at once. But those things aren't going to be around forever. They are important. Speaking with my spouse helps us to get to know each other. As we grow, we learn more and more about each other as the years pass. And it's important that we just intentionally be present in those moments. Time to spend with loved ones, well, that life here on earth is a very short. So if you ask me which is more important, personally, I would rather have a conversation with my husband while preparing a meal, my child screaming in the background, and my kid running through the kitchen, than do all of that in solitude. When we welcome others into our home, the kitchen becomes a place of hospitality and grace. Whether it's sharing a warm meal with friends, baking for a neighbor, the simple act of serving food can just point others to the love of Christ. This is also something that I really want to get better at. You see, there is so much more that we can do with our kitchen. We can invite our extended family over here. We can also invite our neighbors over for a meal so that we can spend time getting to know the people that live right next door to us. This is something that I feel like God has been calling me to do in my most recent fasting. I decided to take 24 hours just to spend with the Lord and cut out distractions. Of course, I was still a mom and I tended to my family as well. But when I wasn't doing that, I wasn't doing any cleaning. I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't scrolling social media. I wasn't even making videos. Instead, I was spending that time with the Lord. I spent 4 hours diving deep into His Word. I spent 30-minute sessions of prayer, which I normally don't have the time for, but my husband was so gracious to take the kids while working. All of this so that I can dive deeper into my relationship with the Lord. He revealed so many things to me, but one that He revealed is one of His second greatest commandments for us, which is to love thy neighbor as ourselves. So I want to use my kitchen to do that. I was blessed with this kitchen. I was blessed to know how to prepare food. I was blessed with food to be able to prepare, and now I want to use that to serve others, my neighbors particularly. If you are feeling weary in your role as a homemaker, remember that even the smallest tasks can glorify God when done with the right heart. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. This is another thing that God has commanded us. So remember, we're not just doing this for people. We're also doing this for the Lord. So the next time that you're in the kitchen, whether you're boiling pasta, scrubbing pots, or sipping tea at the table, remember that this space is sacred. It's a place where God's love can be poured out in the everyday moments, because the heart of biblical homemaking isn't about perfection. It's about using what God has given us to serve and bless those we love. It is my prayer that this video brings you peace and motivation in homemaking and motherhood, but ultimately that it points you back to the Lord.